Hello everybody, it's Rick. It's 1,300 hours on Halloween. Anyway, yesterday I said I was going to go to court today. I went there, he wasn't there, but I was told that they put something in the mail, and I came home today, and there was a decision, an order. It's not everything I wanted, but it is respondent also asserts in the instant order to show cause that the support collections unit, child support, is not complying with this court's order. And he says respondent is directed to serve a copy of this order. So in other words, he put a stay. I didn't get everything I wanted, and it's not over yet, but my writ of quo warranto, which started all this back in August, got me in front of this judge. And, this is encouraging because, he put a stop to this nonsense of them collecting child support for two children over 21. And he put a stop to these criminals in the child support office who were just ignoring his orders. And I told you guys in my last video, I got a thing from the sheriff's office. And I think, I had time to look at this. They're funny. They go, come down to our office and we need to talk to you. They want to serve me with a summons or some bullshit. But, again, I'm going to use it to my advantage. I want to read something to you. I want to give you the idea of the caliber of the lawyers that they employ in child support in city and state government. I'm convinced, as a retired law enforcement who I have above average intelligence with the people I worked with. So don't judge me based on what you see on TV with the police officers who are nothing but fucking idiots, most of them, because they're robots. And so anyway, last year I sent notice to the New York City Human Resources Administration. They're the ones that handle the child support, the Office of Legal Affairs. So I asked the attorney, I'm like, through paperwork, I'm like, you can't seize my property by support hearings without, a trial by jury as guaranteed under the 7th Amendment in the Bill of Rights, which are still in effect, guys. So this is the response I got. This is classic. The Child Support Litigation Unit of the Office of Legal Affairs of New York City Human Resources Administration is in receipt of your letter addressed to A. Reynoso, a child support representative at the New York City Office of Child Support Enforcement. I threatened to sue this guy or woman. I don't know who he or she is. See, you're dealing with criminals because they don't give you their whole names. Okay? And also, when I go to family court, I don't know if anybody saw my video. I had a video last year trying to serve a summons, and I got into an argument with some idiot who thinks he was a tough guy. And my friend was like, "Hey, how come you guys don't have a name?" And I told him why, because they're hiding. I was a police officer. I had to have a nameplate. Now, most things, I always go off on tangents, but most things you'll find arise out of people fighting back, pushing back. So apparently somebody at some point in the past sued a police department somewhere and forced the police departments, in the United States to start putting name tags on everybody. And now they're starting with the cameras, which is a very good thing. See, I worked in Midtown Manhattan back in the 90s, and we always assumed we were being watched because we had tourists walking around with cameras. So my friends and I, this is why I know the law very well, because I had to know the law. because at any time if I made a bad arrest, I could have been sued. And I worked for an agency that had a lot of money. And I was sued one time with friends of mine. I was a co-defendant. It was one of the most legit arrests I've ever been a part of. And we still lost the case. I mean, I didn't lose any money or anything. I was found to have been acting lawful and everything. And but it proves that a jury trial, could be a good thing and a bad thing. So I learned the law. I know what questions a lawyer is going to ask before they even ask them. So that's why I know what I'm doing here. So I'm pretty confident the advice I give people when I make my videos, and my videos, my camera going back and forth like this with me speaking, but I know what I'm speaking about. So getting back to this letter, and again, I was telling you the lawyers, I'm convinced they purposely hire stupid people. And a lot of these people, they come out of college. A lot of these lawyers have never seen the inside of a courtroom. They've never been a part of a jury trial. I know this because the case I was just telling you about, the agency I worked for, the attorneys, they didn't know what the hell they were doing. Like my friends and I, we were telling them what to do because, we, as active police officers, we were in and out of courts all the time in Manhattan. So we were telling them what to do. They didn't have a clue what they were doing. It was classic. And then they were defending us. But again, we didn't do anything wrong. We were found not guilty, of doing anything. And they wound up paying this kid off anyway. I mean, the kid was a drunken idiot, spitting on an old lady and everything. And he fought me and my friends. We arrested him. And there was people all over the place and, whatever. But getting back to stupid people. So anyway, you specifically take issue with the fact that your support obligation was issued by a support magistrate without a jury. Now remember, this is coming from a lawyer. You cite the 7th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which requires the preservation of a right to a jury trial for common law matters in which the amounts in controversy exceed $20. All right, get ready. This is coming from a lawyer. All right. Foremost, the 7th Amendment of the United States Constitution only applies in matters in federal court. It does not apply in matters in state courts. Can you believe that statement? Now, I'm so friggin' busy fighting everybody that I didn't even... if I took this to a court, well... I already have a matter of court I showed you, and they just ignored me and everything. But anyway, I'm showing you that the battle that we're having is we're dealing with very stupid people. I mean, that's coming from a lawyer. I couldn't believe this. Okay? The 7th Amendment of the United States Constitution only applies in matters in federal court. That is absolutely outrageous. Outrageous. That comment coming from Elizabeth Haynes, staff attorney for... This is an attorney for child support enforcement. So, if somebody like myself sends them a letter and saying, this, that, the other thing, they got to bring it to a lawyer, and they're like, yeah, you could do that. Now, this is a moron that says the 7th Amendment is basically suspended in state courts. All right? And then I love the best. They go, should you have any questions, please contact the New York State Bar Association. Yeah, okay. But anyway, so today was a good day. I got this in the mail. This thing from the Sheriff's Department arises because, as I was telling everybody yesterday, my last video, that the child support enforcement was ignoring this court order from a judge. Somebody took it upon themselves to read the stipulation and settlement agreement. Of course, they ignored page 11 that waived them. That doesn't count. And they claim, we have to collect support till your son's 22. And then somebody went and claimed I owed them $23,000 because they refigured the numbers and everything. Back in July, I got a letter stating that my account is closed. All right? Now, here's another thing, guys. If you have an account, it means that you're a customer. All right? Courts cannot make you a customer. You have to consent. So Visa, MasterCard, and child support enforcement are all in the business of lines of credit. So they need your consent. Now, child support arrears arise from past payments from the state to your baby's mama, your ex-wife, your girlfriend, whoever. And they're collecting the debt, which is the child support. Okay? Except in my matter, what happened was they saw I had a very good pension. I have a nice monthly income, and they're like, we can get a piece of this, which they did. They got a good piece of it, $143,000 worth, and just claim and refigure the figures, and they got 66% of that. This is a big racket, child support. I'm fighting with my pension system. Now, listen to this. This is another classic fraud. So now, my pension system, I've been fighting with them for the last 3.5 years. They delaying everything. I've been arguing with this knucklehead lawyer, Danielle Hines, in the pension system. Another dingbat lawyer, probably went to school with Elizabeth Haynes. And he told me that, he's enforced, that he has a court order. Well, that's the income withholding order. We know that's not a court order. All kinds of things he's telling me about. Anyway, about a year ago, I started, I've been fighting. I'm like, listen, I'm retired. My pension property is my property. Any property you have, even your checks, guys, is your property. No, even your what do you call it? Payroll. They're not allowed to send the money. They get these things and they say, "Oh, you got to send it." They're not allowed to because it's not a warrant. Anyway, I started getting on him and writing letters saying, "Listen, my pension, you need a warrant, and I'm also not liable. I don't have to conform to any of your administrative procedures because I'm retired." Now, when you're at work, every job has rules and regulations and stuff. If they write you up, you got to go. You have a union representation. You go to a hearing. Those are administrative hearings. All right, that's when they apply. But not me. I'm retired. So anyway, I got this paperwork, and I noticed they gave me an employee ID number. So I got this guy on the phone. He starts stuttering, this guy Daniel Hines. And I'm like, how did I become an employee all of a sudden? We just started doing that with everybody. I go, no, I go, I'm not an employee. You can't, an employee is somebody that gets wages, that works. You know what they're doing, guys? They did that for one thing, to cover their rear ends with the administrative procedures. But you know what else they're doing? They're using my employee ID number to send to the federal government so they can receive child support enforcement money. Remember, every dollar they collect, they get money back 66%. That's why, like, New York City cops, New York State employees, county employees, every kind of employee with a county government or whatever, they're eager to help pay child support because they get money in child support. It goes into the state coffers. So what my pension system was doing is they're complying. They're on the backs of all the retired. I wonder how many retired employees for New York State are paying child support when they're not supposed to be, because of the acceptance of income withholding orders. And this is a huge fraud, huge. All right. Anyway, this was a this and that kind of video. I just wanted to give you the good news but all this stuff comes from the videos I do. All the information I give you is good stuff. I mean, I may not be right all the time. There are other good channels. I apply everything from everybody. Amin Osiris, Wasil Bey, this other guy, Sovereign Living. These are all good channels. But anyway, my money is still my money. All right, I'll be talking to you guys again. Bye.